Sidney Gottlieb noticed the silence the moment he entered the Langley building in November 1953. This silence was not the sound of secrets being hidden. It was the sound of people who had stopped wanting to speak. On his desk that day lay a folder with no title, no date, no number, no signature, just a thick manila envelope, and inside it dozens of pages of typewritten reports. This was nothing new for him. What was new were the corrections made in his own handwriting, phrases he did not remember writing, approvals he did not remember giving, instructions he could not recall ever authorizing. For years, Gottlieb had been studying the effects of chemical compounds on the human mind. His position within the CIA was unmistakable. Break interrogation resistance, erase memory, dismantle personality, reshape it anew. These objectives were never shared with the public. The documents presented to Congress looked far more innocent. They spoke of behavioral science research. But what happened in the basement corridors of Langley, in windowless rooms and chairs bolted to concrete floors, never fully made it into any official report. MK-Ultra was a project on paper. In reality, it was an uncontrolled chain of experiments. Most of the subjects had no idea they were part of a study. Soldiers, prisoners, the mentally ill, sometimes just people pulled randomly from the streets. Gottlieb personally determined the dosages of every substance used in the experiments: LSD, mescaline, psilocybin, barbiturates, and chemicals not yet classified by any official agency. Some left permanent damage to the human body. Others caused irreversible fractures of the mind. A file caught his attention, a subject file. There was no code name, only a real name. This should never have happened. Subject identities were always concealed. This one was not. When Gottlieb turned the page, he found the death report. The cause was unclear, but between the notes was a sentence that made him stop. Persistent behavioral discontinuity post-experiment. He had written this phrase many times before, but this signature belonged to him, and the date was a day he knew he was not in the laboratory. As MK-Ultra progressed, the experiments were no longer limited to chemical compounds. Sensory deprivation chambers were constructed. Subjects were kept in complete darkness for days. Some were forced to listen to the same sounds repeatedly. Others were given nothing but silence. The goal was simple: empty the mind, then refill it. Gottlieb believed that human memory could be completely erased. This conviction drove the experiments further and further into territory no institution should have explored. By the 1960s, the project had spiraled beyond control. Some subjects, once released, could not return to normal life. Some stood outside CYA buildings screaming about what had been done to them. But no one listened. In official records, these people were marked as psychologically unstable. Gottlieb signed every report, insisting this was necessary. In the Cold War climate, morality was a luxury no one could afford. In 1973, the CIA initiated a purge. Most documents were destroyed, but some files, whether by accident or design, survived. Gottlieb had retired by then, yet his name still appeared in documents pulled from the archives. One evening, he found an unmarked envelope in his mailbox. Inside was an experiment report he did not remember signing, written years before. It stated that the experiment had failed and that the subject's death was classified as an acceptable side effect. That night, Gottlieb could not sleep. He realized that what he had spent decades defending was now aimed at his own mind. He read the documents again and again. Some pages looked inserted afterward. Others were missing. Most disturbing was that several reports listed a different name as the lead investigator, but the signature was still his. MK-Ultra was officially declared ended. Senate investigations began. The Church Committee was trying to expose the CIA's unethical activities. Gottlieb was called to testify. Standing before the committee, he chose his words carefully. He did not tell them everything. He could not. He believed that some things could not be spoken aloud, because if they were, not just the CIA would be questioned. The very boundaries of the human mind would be too. Years later, documents that should never have survived appeared in the archives. They implied that MK-Ultra had never truly ended, only continued under different names. Gottlieb's name did not appear directly in these files, but the methods described were unmistakably his own. As if, even after he had left the program, his mind continued working within the system. The final report contained a sentence that shook him deeply. The subject became part of the experiment without ever realizing it. This definition now applied to him, a man who had spent decades reshaping other minds, had never noticed when his own had been put under control. The files of MK-Ultra remain incompletely declassified today. What was revealed exists in the shadow of what was destroyed. Sidney Gottlieb's role was recorded in official history as a technical assignment, but the spaces between the documents whispered a far darker truth. The experiments conducted on the human mind changed not just the subjects, they irrevocably altered those who ran them. And some files remain unrecorded in any archive. Consider this. If only a fraction of these documents were ever released, what existed in the files that were burned? Some witnesses insist MK-Ultra never truly ended. The name changed, but the methods only grew quieter. Do you think these operations continue in different forms today? Or is it because the human mind is already shaped, already directed, that no one questions it anymore? Leave a single comment. It ended, or it evolved. If content like this makes you think, subscribe to the channel, because in the videos that follow, undisclosed documents, unexpected connections, and overlooked details will surface one by one. Some stories end when they are told. Others wait for those who keep searching to find them.